Hey, what's up guys? It's a week later from when I put that video up. It is July 21st and last week, what does that make it? Tuesday. Last Tuesday I put a video up asking if you guys wanted a Q&A. I told you I would sometime over the weekend. Well, the weekend didn't happen. I got tied up on 3 or 4 other projects. Didn't get a chance to video any of those. Whether I didn't, it is what it is. So I'm looking at the list of questions here. We're just going to start at the top and work my way down. But before, what are we drinking tonight? We're going to have a nice cold white IPA, a Blue Moon. Nothing fancy. I'm not a beer aficionado. I'm an easy kind of guy. I'll drink whatever for the most part, as long as it's not too dark. Fail. Alright, so the first question here is from Jeff James. Why do we drive in a parkway and park in a driveway? You know, that's a real good question. I can't help you. Sorry, buddy. I got nothing. It's late in the day. I got nothing. I guess I probably should have thought of that beforehand. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Caesar Fortuna. Okay, buddy, I have a question. Are you going to have more apartments to remodel? And if yes, are you going to show some of the work? I am hammered. I'm up to my elbows in alligators with apartment remodels right now. And I'm probably not going to show any of that work. I've talked about it before in that June, I guess it was the 1st of June, I had 2 apartments come available. They were both had to be done. So I had 2 going at the same time. And it's hectic. It makes for a hectic day. I've got a really decent painter that is Johnny on the spot when it comes to getting things painted. My floor guy who refinishes this particular apartment's had hardwood floors. He's pretty good. Sometimes he needs a few days in either direction, but for the most part he's in there when he says he's in there, and he goes. And my cleaning crew, spot on. They come and do a deep cleaning right before I hand the keys over to the tenant, the new tenant. But I don't get a chance, so everything else in between is me. Upgrading smoke detectors, light fixtures, cabinets, countertops, kitchen floors I do. Any plaster work, repair work, if it needs new windows, any trim work that needs to be repaired, replaced, door work, any of that stuff is all on me. So, especially when I have 2 apartments going at the same time, it's hard for me to get my head into video making mode. I got to keep my head into, I can only spend about 4 hours over here, and then I got to drive over to this building to do 4 hours over here. And it just doesn't make for any continuity in video, so I don't even try. DZL Freak, how's the knee, Gimpy? A couple people down here have asked me about the knee. The knee's doing pretty decent, actually. I had an MRI done, and there wasn't anything that the orthopedic felt they could correct in surgery that couldn't be healed and dealt with in physical therapy. So I opted for just leave it be and let's see how it goes. And I'm probably 93% to healing at this point. I have really good stability, rotational and lateral stability. My range of motion is still a little bit lacking. When I walk, I can't quite straighten my leg all the way out again and extend it, and then when I flex it, it really does not want to bend all the way. It's healing. It is what it is. It's time, and as soon as it heals, I'm going to get right back on that bike, kick the crap out of that bike, and ride it. I'm just dumb like that. Which leads me into the next question by Jim Rawlings. Jim says, when are you going to do an update on the RM250? Hang on, Jim. Here you go, buddy. Oh, pee and antifreeze. There's the update, Jim. Yeah, it sits here on the floor. I'll get to it. I haven't got to it. Maybe this weekend. So when I work on that, I will take videos. That I do promise I will take a video. Craig, A-R-N-D-T, Arndt, says a Q&A would be a cool video. I don't necessarily have a question, but it'd be fun to watch. Well, there you go. Mosquitoes. Craig, if you're watching, what's up, buddy? IH 1206. Cracking cold ones outside sounds like a good idea. Here you go, buddy. It's 65 degrees outside right now. It's 7:30 at night. Last couple of days were well into the 80s. It was really nice ones. So cracking cold ones are good. All right, Joe H., Joe the Cable Guy, says, always enjoy hearing your thoughts. Only one question that comes to mind is, where's my Cub hand crank? Thanks for sharing. Where is it? There it is, buddy. I brought it home. That's the hand crank off a 1950 Farmall Cub. And this one looks really worn out, but it's here. I've forgotten about you. Dan Whiteford says, beyond having an update on your knee, which I just did. Look, I'm not wearing a brace. I'm not wearing a brace because it's just easier for me. Maybe I'll get to that in a little bit later in the video. We'll see how long this thing takes. Doesn't have a specific question for me, but whatever you put up, you shall watch and listen with great interest. Wow. Dude, I'm not that interesting, but thank you, Dan. Appreciate you watching. I really do. Donald Lazier. Buddy, you crack me up with your autocorrects and the sentences that you put together. Thanks for stopping in. He says, oh, y'all did say that, LOL. Super Glide, Mr. 73 Super Glide. WTBM123, Mr. Terry says, oh, I have a question. Okay, question. Why have you not packed up that lathe and sent it to me? LOL. Okay, then can I borrow it every other week? Yeah, buddy, that lathe is sick. I'll tell you what. It'd be a little bit in shipping to get to you. I know you're somewhere out in the Midwest, somewhere. Iowa, Idaho. No, not Idaho. Iowa? Maybe a little farther east. Dude, that lathe is heavy. Took 2 people to get it in the back of my truck, and then I was impatient. I was waiting for Skippy to come down and help me lift it into this spot where it is right here. It's just, if I were to rotate that camera a few degrees that way, it would be right there. And it seriously hurt me. I think that lathe probably weighs 250 pounds, 300 pounds. So shipping might be a little. Scott Hildebrand here says, did I retire? You sure do spend a lot of time playing these days. I don't recall when the last work video was posted. Scott, I can only laugh at that one. I know you're not a new subscriber or a new viewer, and I really hope you're kidding on that. Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you're playing around a little bit. But I haven't posted many work videos 6-8 months now. There's a reason for that. There are actually a few reasons for that. First, I don't know if this is first of all, this isn't top of the list, but as I mentioned earlier in this video, I usually have 2 or 3 different jobs going on at the same time, and it's hard for me to maintain continuity in my videos if I'm shooting little snippets, and then I don't want to just throw up these little snippets, because then it doesn't make sense to you guys, and then you've got to wait a week or a few days or whatever. I like putting everything together and having a video that kind of has a beginning, middle, and end. And if I'm just doing little bits here each day, it's kind of chaotic to me, and it's just, I'm hustling right now. It's the summertime. Summer's my busy time, and I need to get stuff. I need to get stuff done. I need to get apartments turned over, and I need to get that done. And secondly, how do I put this without offending someone? Because I'm sure I'm going to offend someone. Although the majority of the people that I would offend probably don't watch my videos on a regular basis. But Jeff James, you understand this, buddy. I know you and I have talked about this. There are a lot of internet experts out there. And I got to the point where I got really tired of posting videos where you would get these hit and run commenters where you know they're not your regular viewers, you don't recognize their names, but they come in and they know it all. You're doing everything wrong. This is wrong. This is how I would do it. This is how I would do it. This is how, hey, you're stupid. And I don't have time for that. I don't have the time or the mental energy to spend on internet experts when it comes to stuff I do for work. The stuff I do for work is code compliant for the region that I work with. 98 out of 100 times I work with permits that get inspected, at least permittable jobs that get inspected. And the stuff I do gets done to what's considered acceptable building standards, if not beyond. Because I put my name, I work for myself. If you don't know that, I work for myself. So everything I do has my name on it. So I don't half-ass my work. I don't put half-ass work out there. I just don't take a lot of video of it because I'm tired of the internet experts. And then also, kind of last but not least about work video too, is I've been doing a lot of work in occupied spaces. And like this bathroom that I did, this is somebody's personal home. This is their private home or their apartment that they're living in. And for me to creep around with a video camera, I don't feel right about that. I wouldn't want somebody who's working in my house taking video, or at least the owner perceiving that the worker is taking video of the inside of their house. You know, I may not be taking anything outside of this bathroom. I'm just taking video of the bathroom for a video for YouTube. But if the owner sees me with a running camera, you know, what are you doing that for? You staking out the joint, you know, you casing the joint, you gonna pull a job. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I don't want to put my customers in the position of that. That's their private space, that's their home. I do snap individual photos, and oftentimes I will email them updates. This bathroom, for example, the homeowner wasn't living at the house at the time. She was staying with family, so at the end of every day, I'd take 3 or 4 pictures, and I'd message them off to her, and I'd say, hey, look, here's where we're at today. And homeowners get a kick out of that because they see kind of the process. They don't just see the finish. They see everything, 80% of the work that's behind the marble, you know, changing out the shower enclosures, fixing any dry rot, the substrate you lay, the shower pan gaskets that you lay. Anyway. All right, now on to Rooney Sears. He's asking me what's my plan to redo one of the Monkey Ward's tractors. The Gilson, which is right over there, the second Gilson that's a twin to the one up at the ranch. I'd like to get the sawmill done, and I know I've been talking about the sawmill now for probably 3 years. The cutting head, at least for the last year, and it's been, I think I shut down work on that in November when I picked up the 8N, and I just haven't had the creative brain power to put into that sawmill, and I need to get that sawmill done because it's taking up space in my yard, and that's got to go. And I really need to get that to a point of test firing before I'm going to break that Gilson down. If everything goes right, and I say this loosely, if everything goes right, the sawmill gets done this summer, and the Gilson will be a winter project. Because I can take it apart over there by the woodshed and do all the bodywork and painting in here or at other places. But I would like to get that one done. The ultimate goal is to get that one broken down. I'm not talking about a full resto. I'm talking about, because I'm stupid and I know this, it's not just a spray and pray. It's going to be break it all down to its component parts, paint individual pieces, put it back together. Because that's just like I did the rotoho, the rototiller that I did a couple years ago. Same thing on that. And then I'm going to take the painted one up to the ranch, and then I'll take the rusty ranch one and bring it back down here and do the same thing. And probably keep one down here just to play around. I really want to find a cutting deck for it. If I could mow grass without Gilson, I could justify in my mind keeping it down here. Thanks for the question, Rooney. The Solo Asylum, what's up, brother? Let's see. How did you come to own the cabin property? Did you stumble onto a deal, build it, inherit it? Also, do you plan to retire there at some point? The ranch property is, I think I've talked about this in the past, but I'll do a brief synopsis. The ranch property is located in a chunk of central Oregon in the Cascade Mountains. And I grew up in that area. I grew up 7 or 8 years old. I forget exactly when we started going up there. We have a family member that has a large cattle ranch up there. And as a kid, we used to go up there during the summer, my brothers and I, and ultimately just my younger brother and I, because my older brother wasn't quite into that bit of ruggedness. But my younger brother and I, we'd go up there during the summer and we'd work the meadows, we'd work flood irrigation. For a few years we captured the spring-fed irrigation and ran it through sprinkler pipes. But ultimately, flood irrigation was the way to go in the summertime, and then in the fall I would do roundups, and in the spring I would do roundup of the cattle. And so I've worked cattle since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I knew that area very well. I've ridden dirt bikes, two-wheelers, all throughout there. I've ridden horses throughout that part of the Cascade Mountains, driven trucks, rolled trucks, gotten stuck in four-wheel drives. Boy, yeah, it's a really cool piece of earth. And I had kind of had a soft search out for a piece of property. I never thought I would end up with the piece that I had right now. In 2000, the owner of that my family member, the owner of that big cattle ranch I talked about, I happened to just off the cuff mention that, yeah, now's probably a good time for me to buy something up there. And he goes, oh, I got the perfect property for you. And anyway, so it was bought, and the property was, this was 2000, and the property was already built out in that the structures that you see on there now were already bought and are already built. That property had only been developed about 10 years when we bought it, and the gentleman and his wife that bought it had some medical issues, and they couldn't stay that far away from civilization because it's pretty far up in the mountain. So they had to sell the place. So you know, how else do you acquire property? One of the ways is to buy it, and just bought it. Do I plan to retire there at some point? You know, I don't know. So much can happen between now and then. I'm barely through my 40s right now, and my ultimate goal was to be to retire at 50, and I've got about 6 years before I can call 50 a birthday, and so much can happen between now and then. I don't see 50 as a realistic retirement date, just because I'm going to have kids in at least one kid in college, my youngest, and we'll see. You know, a lot, like I said, life happens how life happens. A lot of things can happen. I could retire up there. I could see myself living up there full time. I would absolutely dig it. There would never be an endless supply. There would never be an ending supply of work. I would just ramp up the cattle operation that I have up there that's currently going. I would just triple it, and probably be able to make a pretty decent wage at it. Oh, that's almost gone. I only grabbed one beer too. Redneck Brian says, how's the family doing in general after Newman's passing, and any plans on getting another dog? Everybody's doing good. Newman was such a solid dog, and he was around for my girls. I think we got him when my youngest was, we got him in 2004, so she was 6. And into their teenage years. So they really had a lot of experience with Newman. They had a lot of growing up with Newman. So he is definitely a missed dog, and I'm not looking to replace him. I don't want a carbon copy of him, although I'm still looking for another black lab. It'll be probably the end of August when I'm done with the big jobs that I have coming up, and then we have this little trip in August to look at some colleges in Colorado for my youngest. When I get back from that, I'm going to go visit my welding guru, Troy, my bro. I'm excited. We're going to go to his tap house, Bricks, and Bricks Tap House. I'm excited about that. And when I get back from that trip is when I'm really going to start hitting the dog circuit and getting another dog by winter, I hope. Crazy 45 Cat, what's up? Jerry, my brother, the Cannon Man, says, are you in the infamous apartment building? Yes, I was. That is the concrete bunker of that big apartment building. Ruth Popel, P-O-P-L-E, says, just subbed. Welcome, Ruth. Hope to hear from you down the road on some of these videos, and hope I keep you interested. Welcome aboard. What happened to your friend Wayne at the diesel stop? Let's see. That was LUNDGJ1. My friend Wayne, my brother Wayne at the diesel stop. He is a good man. I'll tell you what. He was one of the very first guys that I ever had, that I ever really made friends with on YouTube. I had like 4 subscribers, and I put up a video when I first started. You know, I had like 3 or 4 subscribers, and I put a video up, and I get about 12 views. And I was watching Wayne's videos because he's had a couple before the diesel stop. He's had 2 other channels, and I happened to shoot him a quick private message because he had made a video, and it doesn't matter what the video is right now. We exchanged phone numbers, and we used to talk to each other all the time on the phone. And he gave me some tips and stuff on how to kind of grow my channel a bit. And Wayne's a good man. The last time I talked to him was Easter of this year, 2015. He's got his stuff going on with family and work and building stuff, and you know, sometimes you just get busy and you kind of fall out of the YouTube groove. Let's see, Buckman840 is under the, may have gotten the impression that I've been in the armed service earlier in life. No, I've never been in the armed services. Not in this life. Maybe in a previous life I was in, who knows? No. No, I haven't been in the military. I have friends and family that are in and have retired from the military. I have just untold respect for our military personnel. Regardless of which branch you're in, although if I had my druthers, it's all about the Marine Corps, if that were my path. But I never chose that path to go into the armed services. It just wasn't what I did. 59 Chevy T, Tom would enjoy a good Q&A. Thanks. What's up, my friend? Let me finish this beer. talking too long. I know this is. Skokie 23, my friend Brad. Yes, I've said in a previous video that I'm a carpenter. Can I get into some detail on the stuff that I've worked on, etc.? How long have you been wrenching, busting knuckles? I am a carpenter. I do general construction, primarily for residential and light commercial work. If I had my druthers, and I've probably talked about this before, but if I had my druthers, I would do finished carpentry all day long. I would do mill work. I would build custom built-ins, hang doors, do trim work. It would be crown-based trim. I love that detail work. I love getting into my thing, just putting my ears on, putting my music in, and just focusing on what I have to do. And I've been wrenching on cars and busting knuckles since I was a kid. My dad wrenched on everything he had, and my butt was hanging out of every engine compartment my dad ever worked on from as long as I can remember. So I've always had dirty fingernails, and I've always had a scrape or two on my hands, and I love wrenching on mechanical stuff. I really get a kick out of that. Blair Cook asked me, how'd you acquire the ranch? Already covered that, brother. Thank you for the question. How's the boiler working in those apartment complexes that I oversaw? That boiler's a pain in my neck. I'll tell you what, that's all I got to say about that, because I think we're going to have some legal issues with it. But it's kind of out of my hands. I'm not the boiler guys. They were my subcontractors. However, I oversaw the project. I was the general on the project. So no matter what happens, I'm still going to be involved in it. My pockets, unfortunately, are going to have hands in them. Dan Royer, when will we be showing more of the GTO and the old Dodge? Well, Dan, the Dodge comes out in the dry summer months. You know that. I did a video of that Dodge getting stuck in simple rain. It does not, with those tires, it doesn't handle well off-road. And before this winter, I need to get the Dodge out because I need to bring in some firewood, so I'll do some videos of that. That's when the Dodge isn't here at my primary house. It's at the ranch, so I only get to play with that when I'm up at the ranch. And it is what it is. And the old GTO, God, I wish I could tell you it'll be out this year. It's hard to say. It's already towards the end of July, middle of July. I don't know. I told myself in the beginning of 2015 that if I did not get the GTO out and get some drive time on that thing this year, I would sell it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 5 months left. So we'll see. Wayne Chandler Jr., the RM250 motor right there. Love to see a rebuild. Keep up the good work and watching all your videos. Thank you, Wayne. Yeah, the rebuild will happen. The top end will happen, and I'll probably put new water pump seals. I guess I haven't even looked into parts because I haven't blown it apart yet. As soon as I take that thing apart and I can identify what's going wrong with it, then there we go. Serp. Oh, man, you can mess me up with your last name. Serp Yukovian says, are you an Eagle Scout? No, I'm not an Eagle Scout. Although I did Cub Scouts, Webelos, and I did a couple of years of Boy Scouts. But I had so many other things going on in high school that the Boy Scout thing kind of went by the wayside. I had a bunch of other things going on. I've always been a busy guy. I've always had 10 irons in a fire. But no, I'm not an Eagle Scout. Let's see. Caleb Pittman asked me, what's my favorite motorcycle and why? Oh, dude. That could be a whole video in and of itself, let me tell you. I like characteristics about motorcycles. I'm not married to a particular kind of bike. I have friends that are like, oh, the only bike I'm going to ride is an R1. Well, that's cool. If that's your gig, that's cool. I like bikes that have certain characteristics that fit my style of riding. I like big bikes. I like 1,000 cc's or bigger. I like street bikes, sport bikes, fast bikes. Me. That's me. I had a Ninja 1000R for a lot of years that I rode, and that bike was awesome. It had a nice long frame. It fit me. I'm pretty tall, and it fit me well on that bike, and it had just more power than I needed as an intelligent individual, which goes to show you why I don't own that bike. I sold that bike because I'm too stupid. I'm dumb. I don't have enough common sense to stay out of the throttle and not keep it both wheels on the ground. The last street bike that I sold that I really enjoyed was an NX 650. It was a dual sport Honda, single cylinder thumper, tons of horsepower for what that bike was, plenty of torque, not the most comfortable bike on the highway, vibrated a lot, made your hands numb if you rode for more than about 45 minutes. And I took a few medium length rides, an hour plus in either direction. And it was good. I love that dual sport. It's a great bike. And then dirt bikes, anything 2 wheels, anything 200 cc or bigger is my favorite dirt bike. So I don't have a favorite. Jonathan Thrasher, where's the goat? I talked about the goat. Sorry, buddy. What are your thoughts on the rebel flag and all that stuff? You know, I'm not going to bite on that one. I never grew up. I grew up on the West Coast, so the rebel flag was never a part of anything or anybody that I ever hung out with. I think there's a lot of deeper things other than the flag, and my bigger concern about that is the media and how the media is really trying to stoke the fires into keeping people angry at each other, because our government really likes a nation that's divided. We are so easy to control when the nation is divided and they hate each other. They don't want us to get along, and I think the media is a big player in the inability for people to get along because they just stoke those fires. So the flag is just the hot button for today. Okay, it may last another week, maybe another 2 weeks, and then they're going to move on to something else to hate in the media and get people all fired up for. Why can't we all just get along, right? I don't know. I don't get it. Why don't I own a Harley or some type of cruiser? I do. I own a 59 Panhead. It's right on the other side of this wall. But I'm not into. I'm going to give that away to my buddy Big Mike. Give it back to my buddy Big Mike, because I've got the majority of the parts to make that. It's a basket case right now, but I have the majority of the pieces to make that a running motorcycle. And I don't have interest in it. I don't. Cruisers, right now, motorcycles, street bikes are not, they're not part of what I want to do or what I want to spend my time doing. So I don't have any interest in building it. I don't have any interest in spending the money that it's going to take to build it. So I'm going to give it to a guy that will. Any thoughts on new trucks, cars in general? Oh man, dude, that's just way too many questions. Take it easy from Arkansas. I got an uncle that lives in Star City, Arkansas. Mega Kicking, what's your occupation? We already talked about that, my friend. Could you introduce us to your family? Zach Ulrich. No. GTO burnouts. Oh man, Chevy diesel. Maybe. No promises, but I'd love to get in there. So the next one here, Mad Onions asked me if I ever regret spending so much time fixing things. And my question to that is absolutely not. I am the kind of guy that loves a puzzle. I love a challenge. I love a mental challenge. I love a physical challenge. I love it when what I do combines both mental and physical challenge. I love beating my body up until the point that I cannot move, and I am lucky to crawl in the shower and get my ass to bed and fall asleep before I pass out in the yard. And I love it when I work my brain up to a point where I'm trying to figure out stuff and it makes me tired because my brain is tired. I like that. Fixing things to me is so enjoyable. I don't watch television. I own a television, but I don't have. I have rabbit ears on my TV because every now and then I'll watch it. But it's to me, TV is such a waste, and I would not want to sit inside on a sofa and watch television. I'd rather be out here. As you can see, I've been out here, but I'd rather be out here working on stuff. I'd rather be fixing stuff. I've saved a lot of money wrenching on my own stuff. I've made a lot of money wrenching on my own stuff and wrenching on other people's stuff. It's a good way to keep your finances in check. I don't have brand new cars. I don't want brand new cars. I've got everything I have I can fix myself. 99% of the stuff I can fix myself, and I'm okay with that. And I don't mind wrenching on old cars. I don't mind wrenching on old things. I find that extremely enjoyable. So yeah, I don't regret a minute of it. Not at all. It makes me who I am today. Last but not least, GearGridden 19 says, look forward to the Q&A. Like that kind. Have a good one. What's up, my brother? Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you leaving the comment. So this is probably going to go really, really long. I hope I answered everybody's questions. We'll probably do this again. I don't know when, right? I don't know. Am I really that exciting that you guys want to ask questions? Are there things that I didn't cover in this one that you want me to cover in the next one? I don't know. I should have grabbed 2 beers. That's my regret. All right. The wind is blowing. The trees are dropping leaves. They're making a mess of my yard. The garbage pickup day is tomorrow, so I got to get this raked up and keep the fire hazard down around my house. So I got to run. Got to go. See ya.